And everybody grieves differently, right? Like some people are talkers, some people keep everything inside, and it's very hard for them to open up. And I was like one of those people that I didn't want to talk about it. And I just pretended that there is like nothing wrong or nothing's bothering you but once you keep it so much inside, it has to come out somehow, right? Like it's almost better when you have those like breakdowns and you cry and you get it out of you.
I think, yeah, and you worked so hard, you're
Mhm.
so busy, but it catches you. And
Right.
I wasn't one of those. I was one of those that was like, I'm hurting. I was crying and, trying to function. And um I saw a grief counselor, but it just, I was like, this isn't helping. Nothing's helping. I couldn't even believe when I was writing his name down on the paperwork, like this can't be real. And everyone has a different way, and unfortunately, I think it's time, it's
Yeah.
time is the only thing that can help you, because you have to go through it. You just do. And you try and find the comforts that you can. Um, I know the Lord is there, and I've been through so much with him, my story, but it's hard. I think when you're stripped down bare like that, it
Mhm.
changes. It literally, it just absolutely changes you forever. And you have to kind of decide what kind of person you're going to be.
Right.
And it it makes you it can make you a better person, or unfortunately, it can also just make you a worse person. And that's hard. It's hard to dig deep and
For sure.
carry on and be nice when you're in such pain, or be a mother, or
Mm.
go to your job. It's all awful.
Yeah, every day-to-day functioning, everything is a
Yeah,
chore.
taking a shower,
Yeah.
especially, like, there's different types of loss. And losing Joe, that was my lover. That was, we lived together, and getting in our shower, coming home to his pillow next to, in our bed, and his clothes in our closet. And I tried to stay away from it. I went to the funeral in New York and then went straight to Florida. Hadn't been home in, I think, 7 years. And I told my sister, I just want to get a hotel. I just want to sit on the beach and just grieve. And there's no escaping it. It was still awful, but to be a mother
Right.
and take a child that needs you, like, a lot. My child needs me 24/7. And but I still had to come home, and I still had
Right.
to face, and it was rough.
After losing him, how long did it take you to kinda start thinking about, like, other relationships or dating or putting yourself out there?
I think about a year and a half, you
Mhm.
know, and I feel like it was a little less than a year of just intense grieving. Like I said, ugly, just crying every night. And, I remember telling my sister, I think if someone kissed me, I would vomit. I mean, I just, the thought of it was just disgusting to me.
Right.
But, I think about after a year and a half, I kind of was like at a better place. And I,
Mm.
I missed him, but the thought of finding someone else, I could see that, in the realm of reality, that could be something for me. And I had started working, and I was just happier.
Right.
And maybe I'll try online dating. Maybe I'll give that a shot. I've never done that. And, I've been alone for so long besides him. Um, and I just kind of stuck my toe in a little bit and tried that.
And how did it go?
Well,
I've
it
I've
went,
yet to try it.
it went really well, actually. Um, I you talk to people and you think, oh, this is going somewhere. Like, we have the best connection. We're having the best talks, and then ghosted, nothing. And then, you don't like anyone, you're thinking this is ridiculous. It's an art form. It is crazy. And I was on one, and then I was like, I'm getting on all of them. And I never once, I hadn't met anyone that I was willing to even meet in real life. And I told my friend from work who had got me into it, I said, I can't do this. This is ridiculous. And she said, stick with it. I'm telling you, just stick with it. Like, you gotta just stay in there. You're gonna find someone. I know it. And someone messaged me on Facebook dating, and he said, you have the most beautiful eyes I've ever seen. And I said, thank you. So do you. No response. Nothing ever. And then a couple months later, I was like, okay, that's part of it. And then I think a month. And if you asked me, 2 years ago, if any of this was possible, if it was even in the realm of reality for me, I would have never believed it. I would have wanted to, but I wouldn't have.
Right. So what your advice to someone would be that's going through that grief and through the loss of love, what would your advice to them would be?
It gets better. It
Mm.
absolutely gets better. There is no pill, like that doctor told me years ago. There's no pill, and it's gonna hurt, and it's awful. It's so awful, and you only know what it feels like. There's no way to know until you feel it, and it's unimaginable, and it's dark, and it's ugly, but it does get better, and there is happiness out there. If you would have told me that when I was, puking on the floor, crying, literally not knowing how I was, I had to. I loved my daughter, and I knew I had to, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to live anymore. And I thought I would die of a broken heart. I really thought it would happen, and was quite surprised that it didn't, with the pain that I was in. And I just didn't, I could not see just a realm where there was happiness for me. I knew I was going to survive. I knew I was going to get through it, but I never thought I would be happy.
Mhm.
And this doesn't take away from anything I had with Joe, but I'm happier than I've ever been in my life. And I wouldn't have this happiness if I hadn't been through what I'd been through. It changed me as a person. It changed my priorities. It changed the way I look at the world and the way I look at people, or who, I would have never even probably looked at Nick if this hadn't happened to me. He wasn't my type, you know, and he's